Hey, Trevor Chikuta here from SpineWise, and today I want to talk to you about how you can monitor your fat metabolism through exercise. Now, I know you're wondering why that might be important for you, but if you're ever suffering from any form of chronic illness, maybe you want to lose weight, or maybe you just want to get your health on track, fat metabolism is a key to getting yourself healthy. So if you like our videos, guys, please share, like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn notifications on, and we'll keep you informed on the latest videos that we release to make sure you get all the information you need to keep yourself healthy. All right, so let's have a chat about monitoring fat metabolism through exercise, because there is a lot of pretty cool devices out there which will do this nowadays, just by measuring your breath, what you inhale and what you exhale, through what we call a respiratory quotient test. But these tests can be quite expensive to perform, and devices are quite expensive and they need to be recalibrated. So there's a way that you can monitor this yourself. So even if you're trying to lose weight, is there a way of working out whether your weight loss is because you're kind of starving yourself, or whether because your fat metabolism is actually improving? Okay, so why is this really important? And the main thing with it is we need to understand energy utilization. So we have this thing in the human body called your Krebs cycle, and your Krebs cycle is really responsible for producing all of the energy in your system that you use, whether it be through muscular function, immune function. Everything comes from this substance which produces, or the structure or circuit, whatever you want to call it, which produces this thing called ATP. And we have two ways into our Krebs cycle. One of them is through fat, the other is through glucose. Now, glucose is not necessarily the sugar you eat. Glucose is what the body converts some of the things you eat in order to utilize to put into this Krebs cycle. And glucose is actually derived from both protein and from carbohydrate. So we often confuse glucose as being purely from carbohydrate, and that's not necessarily the case. It actually can come from protein and carbohydrate. So what we really want to see is we want to see a high dependency on this pathway for energy production, not on this pathway. And the main reason for that is when we start having high amounts of glucose dependency, we produce this substance called lactic acid. This changes our pH, which changes a whole lot of different things when it comes to our health. So we want to make sure that we have a high dependency on fat. So when we're doing things like exercise, weight loss programs, things like this, even things like dietary changes in terms of reducing carbohydrate intake to get rid of inflammation, improve your cardiovascular health, improve cholesterol, liver function, these type of things, what we're really trying to do is shift the energy production mechanisms from glucose to fat dependency. But we really need a marker. We need to know whether it is working or not. And there's some pretty cool tests we can do nowadays, but there's a very simple thing you can do at home. Some key reasons that you'd want to do this and move across to a fat-dependent energy pathway rather than glucose: cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancers, brain function, obesity. These are some of the things that have been linked with, in some way or another, shape or form, with changes to fat metabolism. Then from a functional perspective, things like just waking up in the morning feeling stiff and achy, recurrent injuries, immune function, fatigue, these things can also be associated with or improved with changes to your fat metabolism. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. What we need to understand when we start talking about energy production mechanisms is it's all about heart rate. So the higher heart rate gets, the more dependency we have on carbohydrates. So if we can keep your heart rate at a very specific level for a period of time, the result of that will be that we can monitor this process. So we're going to simplify things down. We're going to take 175 and you're going to minus your age off it. So if you're 40, we're going to use a 135 as a max heart rate. If you've got any major underlying health conditions, take another 5 off that. So go 175 minus age minus 5, use that as your max heart rate. Then what we're going to do is 30 minutes of exercise, and we're going to do that within 10 beats of your max heart rate. So if you're 140, for instance, you're going to do it between 130 to 140. We're going to measure the distance that you travel at that heart rate. You can do this on a stationary bike, a treadmill, you can do this out in the park, whatever, but we want to measure how far you've traveled. And then each month, you're going to repeat that distance inside this heart rate zone and then measure how long it takes you to complete that. And what we want to see from that is if that speed is getting quicker and quicker and quicker, even though your heart rate is the same, your fat metabolism is most likely improving. This is your aerobic capacity is most likely improving. If it's getting slower or not getting better, then whatever you're doing with your daily routine, exercise patterns, diet, whatever it is not having the desired effect that you are looking for. So it's a really simple way that you can monitor this. This is an original process was developed by Phil Maffetone. He's determined the maximum aerobic function test. It's a really, really nice, simple way that you at home, just using your heart rate monitor, whether it be a smartwatch or whether you've got a Garmin or a Polar monitor or something similar to that, that you can actually use to measure whether what you're doing is working or not. Anyway guys, if you have any questions about this, you want to know more about what your heart rate is or how to utilize it, or even what heart rate monitors perhaps you should look at, please just post it up down below or send me a message. Always too happy to help. Speak soon. Bye for now.